Many people wonder why commercial airplanes rarely fly directly over the Pacific Ocean. On a flat map, the shortest route between cities like Los Angeles and Tokyo seems to be straight across the Pacific, yet flight paths curve northward, often passing near Alaska, Canada, or even over the Arctic. The reason for this isn't just one thing. It's a mix of geography, physics, safety, and efficiency. The first and most important factor is that the Earth is not flat, and maps can be misleading. On a globe, the shortest route between two distant points is called a great circle. When you draw that line on a flat map, it looks curved, but on the real Earth, it's actually the shortest distance. So when flights appear to take a longer northern route, they are actually following the most direct path possible. This is why trans-Pacific flights often arc over the top of the planet. It saves both time and fuel. But that's only the beginning. The Pacific Ocean is the largest and deepest ocean on Earth, covering nearly a third of the planet's surface. It stretches thousands of kilometers wide, with very few islands or airports in between. This creates a huge problem for flight planning, because every commercial aircraft must have a clear emergency plan at all times. Modern twin-engine jets operate under a regulation called ETOPS, which stands for Extended Range Twin-Engine Operational Performance Standards. In simple terms, ETOPS defines how far a plane can be from the nearest airport if one engine fails. A plane with an ETOPS rating of 180, for example, must always stay within 3 hours of a suitable landing site. Over the Pacific, there are massive empty regions where no such airports exist for thousands of kilometers. That's why flights often stick closer to land or follow northern routes where diversion airports are available in places like Alaska, Russia, or northern Japan. Weather is another big reason. The Pacific is home to intense jet streams, unpredictable turbulence, and frequent storms or typhoons. Jet streams are high-speed air currents moving from west to east. Eastbound flights often use them to save time and fuel, while westbound flights avoid them to reduce turbulence and fuel burn. Over the Pacific, these winds can be extremely strong and unstable, making northern routes smoother, safer, and more fuel efficient. Fuel efficiency plays a major role in every airline's decision. The longer a plane flies, the more fuel it burns, and carrying extra fuel just in case adds even more weight. Airlines plan routes that balance the shortest distance, safest path, and lowest fuel consumption. Flying over the Pacific often means carrying more fuel reserves and facing higher operational costs due to safety requirements. Northern routes, by contrast, allow for more efficient use of fuel and less risk. Another factor is communication and radar coverage. Over land, air traffic controllers can constantly track aircraft using radar. But over most of the Pacific Ocean, there's no radar coverage at all. Instead, pilots must report their position using satellites or high-frequency radio, which isn't as precise or instantaneous. By flying over northern regions or coastal routes, aircraft stay in better communication with control centers and remain within more reliable navigation zones. Safety always comes first in aviation. If an emergency occurs, like sudden depressurization, a medical situation, or an engine issue, it's far safer to have an airport nearby. Over the Pacific, emergency diversions can be hours away, which increases risk. That's why most airlines prefer routes that pass near reachable airports, even if the path looks longer on a flat map. Some flights do cross the Pacific directly, such as those between Los Angeles and Sydney or San Francisco and Honolulu. These routes are planned carefully using ETOPS-certified aircraft, updated weather data, and detailed contingency routes. But most flights between North America and Asia use northern tracks because they are more reliable and cost-effective. The Earth's rotation also has a subtle influence. Because the planet rotates from west to east, winds generally flow in that direction. This means eastbound flights benefit from tailwinds, while westbound flights face headwinds. Airlines use this to their advantage by adjusting their flight paths based on wind direction and strength. The route going one way may differ from the return trip because of these winds. Northern arcs often offer stronger tailwinds and less turbulence, saving time and fuel. There's also the human factor. Most of the world's population, major airports, and airline infrastructure are in the northern hemisphere. It's simply more practical to have flight corridors that pass through regions with established air traffic systems, maintenance facilities, and alternate landing options. The Pacific Ocean, vast and mostly empty, lacks the infrastructure needed to support dense or flexible air traffic networks. You might think that with modern aircraft technology, these limitations wouldn't matter anymore. And it's true that planes like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 can fly extremely long distances safely. But airlines must still balance efficiency, cost, and safety margins. A polar or northern route offers more favorable winds, lower fuel burn, and multiple backup airports, making it the smarter choice overall. Even the curvature of flight paths you see on airline maps has meaning. On a globe, that curved line is the shortest distance. What seems like a detour on a flat screen is actually the quickest way to cross the planet. It's an elegant combination of geometry, physics, and human planning. So, to summarize, planes don't usually fly directly over the Pacific Ocean because it's not the shortest route, it's less safe, and it's less efficient. The lack of nearby airports, unpredictable weather, long distances between landmasses, and limited radar coverage make it a challenging area for routine commercial operations. Instead, airlines use northern Great Circle routes that keep them closer to land, within communication range, and aligned with favorable winds. The next time you look at a flight tracker and see a plane curving northward across the top of the globe, remember, it's not a mistake or a long way around. It's actually the shortest, safest, and smartest path across our round planet. What looks like a curve on a map is the perfect balance between science, safety, and the incredible engineering that keeps millions of people flying safely every single day.